here we are in Sam's car, getting ready to go. He's plugging in the address on the GPS.
What's that house number
Sam,
for
say hi.
Hey. What's the...
We got Clayton in the back seat.
Hey, Mr. Curtis.
We got our history shirts, and we're ready to go.
That James Dean daydream look in your eye. Red lip, classic thing that you would like. I'm gonna go back and shake it down. We come back every time, so we never go out of stock. We never go out of stock.
Stopping to get some gas. We're on the highway. Just got to West Point, and the first thing we're gonna do is get some McDonald's.
Nate, how you like West Point?
I love it. I like McDonald's even more.
Cup of ketchup, and I made it into a jumbo cup of ketchup.
How'd you do that, Sam?
Pulled it apart. Look at it. Look at what Clayton did.
Oh my god, life hack.
Mr. Curtis, take notes.
This had
How's the food?
it's got a hint of historical value to it.
I agree.
I got the West Point burger. Here we are at the United States Military Academy at West Point.
Let's check it out.
As you can see, the introduction to gas mask is courtesy of our essays was on Total War. It's the large part of it. Flamethrower as well.
Here's a stash of Robert E. Lee, who was a graduate here at West Point. Yeah, pretty interesting. A graduate here. I don't know about this guy. I guess he was a graduate here. I know Grant was a graduate here, and so is Jefferson Davis, who was the leader of the Confederate States of America.
Oh my god. Look at all these cannons. As we can see in the basement of the West Point Museum, they have a atomic bomb replica. This is the actual size of the Fat Man atomic bomb.
As you can see, it's almost the same height.
As compared to Clayton, who's not very large, it's about as tall as him, yeah. And over here are some anti-tank weapons. Here's a World War I tank. As we're walking down. Some World War II Jeeps. This is a French tank.
Those are words, those are cannons.
Mortar, artillery, cannons.
Yeah, what is that? It's like a hidden little...
The world's largest butter knife. No, this is the world's largest butter knife. As you can see, these large rifles are bigger than Clayton's forearm. Now you know.
This thing is as long as you are tall, Nate.
That's not true.
Dude, they
Look at
used
this,
that
the
in
bottom
the...
one?
They used
That's a
that,
Chinese, yeah.
that was in 1900.
How would you hold that?
I don't know how you hold it. Hey look, some blunderbusses. Call of Duty fans will recognize the PPSH and the Scorpion
And the Uzi.
The Uzi,
and the Uzi.
Thompson. Where's your MP5?
There's no MP5 or the UMP.
Where's your
Some larger machine guns.
Yeah, here, yeah.
Oh, what was it called?
So I just parked one of
We
these.
just got through the checkpoint. They checked all our driver's license, but we're officially on campus, and it's very beautiful. Thank God.
Feeling good.
Feeling good, yeah. I'm excited. Let's go.
Look at this. Wow.
West Point's gorgeous. It's basically a castle. No wonder they're called the Knights, because it's actually a castle.
During the Revolution, West Point was fortified to pose a strategic barrier to British offensives. Eager to replace European military engineers with Americans, George Washington recommended a military academy in his Sentiments on a Peace Establishment in 1784. Actually, during his presidency, Congress authorized a corps of engineers and artillerists who were trained at West Point beginning in 1794. They would later set about the school in motion and bring about changes to the U.S. military that would forever change the course of history. Alexander Hamilton, too, proposed a comprehensive system of military education in 1798, while Thomas Jefferson persuaded Congress to create the United States Military Academy in 1802. But the academy grew slowly prior to the War of 1812, in which graduates first saw combat. Up to that point, it was not taken as seriously as it is nowadays. The real understanding of the academy came about through the many wars that took place in the 20th century.
The school was actually built as a fort during the Revolutionary War when George Washington recommended that a fort be built by the Hudson River to prevent British troops from coming up here and attacking into the Bay of New York. And so they built this fort as a defense precaution for the British, and then once the war was over, the fort just remained here and eventually became an academy in the 1800s.
Another reason why they chose this location as a fort for the Revolutionary War is, as you can see behind me, the only way to reach here by water is through the Hudson River, and there were very adverse sailing conditions, as well as a long chain of islands where they could place cannons and station American troops to fight anyone that would attempt to sail down the Hudson and attack the Americans. Marine engineers also put in place a long net system across the Hudson that would keep ships from even advancing through the Hudson, and they would install it every spring and take it down every fall to keep it from being destroyed. But it was never tested, as no one ever tried to attack the Americans up the Hudson River.
737 pounds. It was described by one unit officer as the most elegantly finished piece of artillery I ever saw.
What's this called?
This is called the Armstrong gun.
One of many cannons
No, one
on
of
the
only
West
two.
Point cannon.
One of only two.
Oh, of this
these.
specific cannon, but one of many cannons on the West Point campus. As you can see, there are several.
Nate, this is the shell it shoots.
Here is the 150-pound shell that this large gun shoots. By 1860, 3/4 of the Army's officers were West Pointers. Although many Southern graduates resigned from the Army to join the Confederacy, the great majority, including 1/4 of those from the South, remained loyal to the United States. Both nations relied heavily on West Pointers to train their soldiers, and graduates supervised the supply efforts and the necessity for larger armies yet seen in America. Graduates commanded on both sides in virtually every major battle of the Civil War, and Ulysses S. Grant and Robert E. Lee commanded the principal armies. More than 10% of the West Point's graduates gave the last full measure of devotion on the field of battle. But afterwards, the Academy, like the nation, reunited.
All right, so right here we got the memorial dedicated to those who served in the Civil War. Pretty interesting. They actually call this the War of Rebellion. And right here we have all the cannon heads with some of the famous battles that took place, such as Bull Run, Antietam, Shiloh. And we have on the green, the metal, the writing, we have some of the people from West Point who served during the Civil War.
Here's the prestigious West Point water fountain.
I've been baptized.
Dedicated to the United States Military Academy by the class of 1943. We thank you greatly. It's a hot day out here.
So after the Civil War ended, the Academy started recruiting African American cadets, the first of which was Cadet Henry O. Flipper, who endured pervasive discrimination before graduating in 1877. The vogue for athletic competition swept West Point as well as the rest of the nation during the 1890s, and a new wave of construction, including Taylor Hall and the Cadet Chapel, actually occurred after the 1902 centennial, which is that building over there. The conservative curriculum, dominated by math, science, and engineering, changed little until the First World War, but West Point educated most of the officers who developed new institutions of office professional education after the 1870s. These officers led the American Expeditionary Force, commanded by John J. Pershing in France in World War I. And they used the education here on the battlefield to assist them in World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Korea.
The superintendent of the military academy following World War I learned his lesson that leaders need a liberal education so that they aren't so egotistical and actually talk to one another, as were the causes of the First World War. And so he enhanced the liberal arts education and qualifications of the faculty at West Point. And the military academy reached out to civilian society and academia by hiring temporary civilian visiting professors, sending military instructors for advanced civil schooling, and seeking academic accreditation by granting the bachelor's degree to students. Seeking more rounded graduates to meet the complex demands of mass industrial warfare, MacArthur worked to modernize military training, improve physical fitness, develop cadet initiative, and increase cadet governance of the honor system. These reform efforts set the direction of the Academy's development ever since. And that's why it is increasingly difficult to gain acceptance to the military academy, and why graduates are so highly regarded as being fantastic leaders and scholars. Mr. George Washington himself. I'm not allowed to go onto the grass. What's up?
Alright, so West Point has had a extensive collection of notable alumni. Yes, George Washington, although his statue's here, he is not a graduate of West Point. But pretty interesting, we have Robert E. Lee, Ulysses S. Grant, Douglas MacArthur, Jefferson Davis, and then more recently we also have Buzz Aldrin, and for your Duke fans, Mike Krzyzewski. I don't know how to pronounce the name. The basketball coach, though, those are all notable alumni who graduated from West Point.
Headed into the Beat Navy Tunnel. Not a lot going on in the Beat Navy tunnel. There's some echo. But that's about it, other than this. He means
2 5-star generals who graduated from West Point, the other being Dwight D. Eisenhower, one of the future presidents of the United States.
Helping out the West Point campus.
Fixing their fence.
This fence was broken, and I'm straightening it. Much better.
you're welcome, West Point. Thank you for having us, West Point.
Hi, West Point.
It's been fun. It's a beautiful day
It is a nice day.
in New York. Go Army, beat Navy.
Yeah.
A long day at West Point. It's really tired.
Yeah, we're home.
We made it back.
Oh, is it on?
Yeah.
Alright. We're back.
Say goodbye, Clayton.
Bye.
Say goodbye to Mr. Curtis.
Bye, Mr. Curtis.
Later.